Now, teachers at 2 primary schools in Greater Manchester were on strike this week over what they say is daily violence in the classroom. Unions say the number of assaults on teachers and pupils has risen to unacceptable levels. The trust that runs both schools said the safety and well-being of pupils and staff is of the very highest priority, and it works with every one of its schools to maintain the very highest safeguarding standards. It also said it supports schools to ensure the needs of pupils with special needs are fully met. Well, Avnee Morjaria from the progressive IPPR think tank used to be a teacher and advisor to the Department for Education, and she joins us now. Thank you very much for joining us. As a former teacher, is this something that you recognise?
I do recognise cycles of bad behaviour in schools, but I do think things are worse than ever and are getting worse still. I think there's a couple of big explanations for that. So the first one is the cohort of children that you see in primary schools now are the first ones that have lived through COVID lockdown at key developmental moments, and so I think that the level of socialisation, the level of need that those children are presenting is much bigger than before. But I also think that the current provision for pupils with additional needs just isn't working, and so you can see that a lot of the money that those school leaders should have to put in place extra resource or support is funneled through local authorities into individualistic EHCP programs. And so again, school leaders are in a very, very difficult position where they're held to account for making sure that children's needs are met, but in fact don't have any of the resources or levers to do so.
So these teachers have found themselves in the position where they feel they have to go on strike over this, and they're wanting more support. What sort of extra support should they have?
Yeah, and just to be totally clear, I don't think that teachers go out on strike very easily over issues like this. And so I imagine that they are out on strike because they're concerned about their own welfare, their ability to keep doing their jobs. They're also concerned about the welfare of the pupils within their classrooms, including those that are displaying aggression. I think in terms of the support that they need, this is more than a what can those school leaders, what can those academy trust leaders do? I imagine that those academy trust leaders are in a very difficult position where they're dealing with children with the most challenging needs, and that those are concentrated in particular schools in the region, and that happens as a result of the kinds of admissions processes that are in place to ensure that some children access the best education and some children end up in what you might call sink schools, where the most challenging children are, the most challenging needs are, and in fact there's the least resource to provide for them.
Well, thank you very much for that insight, Avnee Morjaria from the IPPR.